I'm Cheryl Scanlon with Way of Life Coaching. Today we're going to begin with a story that revolves around verbal communication. And if you can develop this skill, you help to create a pathway towards success in the marketplace. A manager asks one of his employees to give a presentation. And during the presentation, the employee is very slow in getting the material out. His articulation is very slow. There's a lot of very trying to be thoughtful, and eventually what happens is the manager needs to take over the presentation because they're on the clock and they need to get things done. Your ability to communicate verbally with the people around you is critical to your success. Today we're going to give you an acronym which I hope will make this a little easier for you to learn how to do this and to realize you may not be as bad at this as you thought you were. The acronym is CLEAR. We're going to start with the letter C, clarity. Now, I'm going to switch this around a little bit. Clarity in terms of bottom lining it, in terms of the manager knows or the employer knows or whoever knows what you're wanting to say right from the very beginning. So they're not trying to figure out, now, what are you trying to tell me? So clarity. L, less is more. So no matter what kind of situation you're in, the less you communicate, the better. The reality is if these videos went on for 15, 20 minutes, I think you'd all fall asleep or you'd turn them off. So we're trying to give you concise, clear information without it dragging on and on and on and on. E, eye contact, which is what we're doing right now. I want to look at you. I want you to be able to look at me. Your employer wants to have eye contact with you. And if you're unable to look at them, they're going to start to wonder what's going on for you. And then this can be a hard one. A, allow the person you're communicating with to respond to you, to pause in your communication so that they can then say what's going on for them. This is difficult because we have our agenda. We want to make sure we're communicating what we need to, but we're not creating an opportunity for conversation, just basically a dissertation. And then finally, R, remember that this is relational. So CLEAR, that last one is you're involved in a relationship when there's verbal communication going on. So be friendly, be considerate, be open. Imagine if I was sitting here talking to you like this and I had fist pounding going on versus having a real conversation with you. It would have a very different feel and you would wind up receiving the information very differently from me. Okay, so for viewer consideration, how would you respond if you were asked a question you didn't have an answer to? Think about that for a minute. How would you respond if you were asked a question you didn't have an answer to? Here's a second one. How would you respond if you were accused of doing something that you don't really believe you did? You moved my papers off my desk. You turned off my computer. You closed the door. You did this, you did that, or whatever. How would you respond if someone stole your thunder and took credit for your work? How would you respond if you were put on the spot in a meeting and didn't feel prepared to respond? How would you respond if a person was really stressed and uptight as they were talking to you, almost as if they were taking it out on you? How would you respond if a person was bad-mouthing you to someone else for whatever reason? How would you respond if someone was bad-mouthing someone else to you for whatever the reason? If you work long enough, all of the above circumstances that we've just talked about are going to occur, and more. You can be prepared for these surprises actually in advance. You can know who you want to be, what you want to communicate, and who you are in the midst of the surprises and challenges that are sure to come your way. So let's look at one of these today, using that model of CLEAR. How would you respond if you were asked a question you didn't have the answer to? Let's start with C, clarity. I don't have an answer to that question. L, less is more. If you would like to see if I can get you an answer for that, I would be happy to do so. E, eye contact as you communicate that. And then A, allow the other person a chance to respond to you. And then finally, R, I hope this is helpful to you, and I'm glad we're talking about this right now. Be relational. As you think about that CLEAR, which area of that is most difficult for you? Where might you want to start to work on your verbal communication skills? This is not something that you'll master in a day, but you can grow in day by day as you become more conscious and aware of those various components of strong verbal communication skills. Thank you very much. If this is an area that you would like to work, we have free e-coaching available to you. There's prompts on the website that will help you to go through that process. We hope that you'll take advantage of that. Take care.